Well, welcome to the maiden edition of the Power Circuit. This program is specially packaged by the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, to enlighten you about what this power utility company does. This program further gives you a spotlight on the focal areas of the Honorable Minister of Power being implemented to bring you improved access to electricity. The headlines. TCN seeks intervention as erosion ecological challenges threatening power transmission facilities. TCN improving maintenance culture for power transmission equipment facilities, officials say. Federal government transforming NAPTIN to world-class power training institute, says DG. Please follow through on this program for your viewing delight. My name is Chinwenwa Anyao, and together we will be staying on for this program. This is Minister's Desk. The Honorable Minister of Power, Engineer Saleh Maman, reiterates the focal areas and blueprint for reforming the Nigerian power sector. Engineer Maman, at a recent public hearing by the Senate Committee on Power in Abuja, said a major problem he had tackled was the lack of coordination of power agencies to achieve common goal. However, his 5 focal areas of realigning and reorganizing the sector was beginning to yield positive results. Let's hear more about that.
What I meant here when I came, and I assume Liuli, is there is a lot of directives from different angles. You discover that rural electrification is reporting to a different person. Transmission Company of Nigeria reporting differently. MBET reporting differently. So many processes reporting differently. At the end of the day, it's like minister, we just look like a fool. So I am trying as much as possible to bring everything together, every processes, so at the end of the day, as a matter of policy, to report to the Honorable Minister of Power. That is the #1 task when I assume office.
Here is the storyline segment of the Power Circuit, where we bring to you current and well-researched reports on the power sector. Unregulated soil excavation activities and erosion, especially during the rainy season in Nigeria, often threatens the well-being of residents of various states in Nigeria. There are frequent records of flooding wreaking havoc, causing fatalities and destroying property. Critical national facilities for the transmission of power have been also affected by these ecological issues. The Power Circuit brings to you a special report on these as they affect transmission lines, towers, and substations of the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN.
Mr. Kange Kefas is the General Manager Health, Safety and Environment at TCN. He has so much to say about records of these ecological issues, which are threats to power facilities, especially transmission towers across various states.
Presently, we have this challenge at Onitsha. We have had these challenges at Shiroro. We have challenges of tower erosion in Enugu.
Although TCN was making its own efforts to tackle these issues, the TCN HSA lead called on the federal government to specially provide intervention funds and sensitize the public about dangers associated with excavating the soil near power lines.
The federal government, through the Ministry of Power, may decide to have a special intervention fund created for TCN that will tackle these kind of challenges. Secondly, we need synergy. The federal government, the media houses, to announce to people to see the danger of trying to excavate near the basement of the towers. And thirdly, the federal government, because the federal government also owns the media, the federal government has NTA and all that. We can use NTA, the federal government can use NTA to sensitize people. If you see any erosion near a tower, you report it quickly to the authorities, to TCN, to see that it doesn't degenerate to the collapse of the tower. But most importantly, the federal government should actually have an intervention fund domiciled with TCN for emergencies.
If these issues are not tackled quickly, erosion could completely erode the base of transmission towers, leading to tower collapse. The towers carry high-capacity power conductors that deliver between 200 megawatts to over 600 megawatts of electricity across states on the national power grid.
In some areas like the southeast, the nature of the soil, the topography there, is so that the soil is very loose. So some of the times with heavy rains and you don't have erosions. But there are also some instances of excavations. People are trying to excavate near the transmission towers for mineral resources. And this actually is a threat to the system, because when this happens, when the towers are exposed and they stand the risk of collapsing, it will be really a natural disaster.
Our reporter was at the Cairo transmission substation in Abuja, where one of such cases was recorded earlier along its 132 kilovolts line and towers. This 132 kV transmission line tower transmits power up to Kefi substation in Nasarawa State. It was affected by erosion in 2019, but TCN responded swiftly through an emergency operation to save it from collapsing. There are over 1,000 units of these 132 kV and the 330 kV transmission towers, with some in thick forests where it takes time to detect erosion and excavation threats to them. The senior manager system operations of TCN and station manager at Cairo substation, Engineer Onigo Erigba, spoke on the effects of erosion on the line.
The water channel is coming this way and it's eating up. You can see the erosion sites, and it's threatening this particular tower. Yeah, it's threatening this particular tower, and it's based on that the management have to come and do something to block it. And as long as if nothing is done, it's definitely going to collapse this tower, which is going to affect our transmission line. Transmission now, I think they are increasing their capacity, and issues like this environmental factor, I'm not sure it's just this place, in so many other places, is capable of affecting, because this particular place now, if this tower is affected, definitely this station will be cut off completely from the grid.
At the Airport District of Abuja, where TCN has a 132-33 kV transmission substation, there are threats of erosion along the river bank as road expansion project was ongoing nearby. There was also the need to proactively secure the tower base by reclaiming lost soil near the transmission line right of way to forestall any threat. TCN had earlier observed that the activities of some persons believed to be excavating soil along with other ecological issues were threatening 330 kV power line towers along the Iko-Tekpene to Ugwaji power transmission line in the southeastern region. The regional transmission manager of TCN Enugu region, Engineer Jack Emusheyi, who led his team on an inspection tour along the route, said the power line was a critical federal government's power infrastructure that carries bulk power from Iko-Tekpene in Akwa Ibom through the Ugwaji in Enugu, continuing to Apir in Benue State and to Jos in Plateau State. The general manager said, but for the swift management intervention, the threat of a power collapse was imminent, which could have a ripple effect on other towers on the line. Engineer Mushe also sensitized residents of one of the villages near the line route of not allowing any activity under the power line. The TCN line patrol team also inspected another site under the power transmission line route at Umuahia in the Abia State Axis, where some persons believed to be excavating kaolin were posing threats to the soil near some transmission towers. Apart from losing bulk power across many states at a time, the effect of these ecological issues on safety was aptly captured by the head of Health, Safety and Environment at TCN, Engineer Kange Kefas.
If a tower collapses, there is no supply in that area. The meaning is that economic activities are paralyzed. You also have safety issues like in hospitals, if there's no supply of electricity, people who depend on it in hospitals will now start dying. You also have issues of the tower itself. When it collapses, it costs so many millions of naira to erect a tower. The moment it collapses, apart from the fact that there's no supply, apart from the fact that it may collapse on buildings and people's crops or on people themselves, it also costs a lot of money to get them back standing. If a tower does not collapse, if the soil around it is eroded, we now give out contractors to go and rectify that, which amounts to several millions or so. If it does collapse, then the issue again is erecting a new tower. Most of the members may even be lost. It costs colossal amount of money, several millions.
Mr. Kange said TCN was doing all it could to remediate the issues while continuously doing surveillance on power lines and facilities.
We have health, safety and environment officers in the field. We also have linesmen in the field that are supposed to report this kind of issues to us so that we have a quick intervention. In any case, anytime we are aware that there's an erosion or there's any activity, excavation that is affecting our towers, what we do is resources are so channeled. Resources that are meant for other things are channeled to the tower. You have our staff, maintenance people, even from here, going down to southeast or going down to Shiro, wherever we have this problem. Their main function in the office will now be suspended. So it costs us colossal amount of money and time also in trying to rectify these things.
Officials of the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, say the company was focused on improving the maintenance culture for power transmission equipment and facilities nationwide as it strives to deliver optimized bulk power supply services.
The Power Circuit highlights on practical power equipment maintenance exercise held at the 2x60, 132, 33 kilovolts Kubwa transmission substation in Abuja. The Senior Manager Protection, Control and Metering PC&M of the Abuja sub-region of TCN, Engineer Ladotun Taonkboju, who supervised the annual maintenance exercise, explained why TCN made the maintenance of power transmission equipment a top priority in its schedule of activities.
In line with the mission and vision of our organization, it's our duty to do routine maintenance, annual preventive maintenance, and this takes place every year. So in the exercise, what we actually do is to see the status of each equipment. For instance, the transformer, it has worked over a year. Last annual maintenance we did was last year. And so by this year now, to be able to determine the status of the equipment and to see how far it can go without breaking down, we need to ensure all these exercises. In the exercise, what we do, we clean, we calibrate to see if our relays are very functional. We test the transformer itself to see how the capacity, whether it still has the capacity to go the extra year. So within that, we project and know that yes, this transformer is certified to be operated for the next year.
Engineer Faokboju also said the exercise fetched more gain to the power users as they were assured that the substation would deliver optimally for more period.
For us to place an equipment under the system, we need to determine and know for a fact how reliable that system can deliver. And so in this, what we are doing basically is to assure our customers that yes, for the next 1 year, this transformer can deliver like we ascertain. Okay. Though load is not interrupted in this exercise, it's so flexible that even while we are maintaining one transformer, we have an arrangement with the switches that we can still feed the customers on the other transformer. So in a way, the effect is not noticeable.
In the control room of the Kuba substation, the Senior Manager Protection, Control and Metering PC&M of the Apo sub-region of TCN, Engineer Ramat Musa, also expatiated on the objectives of simulating the substation's protection system.
We try to simulate a fault. We inject on the relays, all our protective relays. We try to simulate a fault, inject on it, and see whether they will take out the transformer in case of trouble event or so. We do all those things here. We calibrate both primary and secondary relay, then mechanical signal from transformer too. Those are vacuum and do the cleaning, just to make everything in order. We simulate.
Kubwa is a major town in Abuja, and in recognition of that, TCN dedicated this substation to wheeling bulk power for onward supply to end users by the distribution company. Engineer Ramat said keeping an annual routine maintenance schedule for the substation was to ensure seamless operation all around.
When we do it like this, we don't expect any fault to happen without the transformer seeing it. It's just to make your protection to be alert. If there's a problem, they can attack. But if there's a problem coming from the main importance of this relay, we install them for protection of all our equipment and switchgear.
Rama simulated the equipment in the control room of the substation, and the readings were taken by her team towards assessing the system protection preparedness to isolate any impending faults when the substation is being operated. The power equipment were also cleaned up. The maintenance activities were not just happening in the control room. The maintenance crew also examined the substation switchyard and the transformers.
Join us for more news reports after this commercial.
Verify that land before you buy it. To drastically reduce the incidence of building under the transmission right-of-way or encroaching on designated TCN land, members of the public are hereby requested to verify land near or along transmission line route before purchasing it. Verification should be made in the Land Development Authority or at the TCN office. This would help in drastically reducing the incidence of building under transmission line right-of-way and save us all the problem of pulling down the structure or truncating transmission line expansion projects in your community due to court injunction. Help us serve you better. Verify that land before you buy it.
This is the transmission mandate where top management officials speak about TCN. The Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, Engineer Sule Ahmed Abdulaziz, speaks about his immediate action plans for the power sector.
In order to drive growth in capacity utilization, the immediate focus of the new TCN management will be on replacing or repairing existing equipment which are failing and front breakdowns. Regular, proactive maintenance processes will be institutionalized to reduce the occurrence and impact of breakdowns. We are also going to prioritize and expanding our capacity by new projects that will span across the entire nation. These are some of the considerations that will help in achieving the goal in improving the performance of the transmission sector. Similar approaches have been undertaken by other developing countries which Nigeria can borrow from.
With a number of projects and training activities, the Director General of the National Power Training Institute of Nigeria, NAPTIN, Engineer Ahmed Bolaji Nagode, says the federal government was transforming the institute to a world-class power trainer. Stay with us for the rest of the reports.
The National Power Training Institute of Nigeria, NAPTIN, has trained over 16,000 power sector personnel in the country. To further strengthen its training capacity, the DG of NAPTIN, Engineer Nagode, in an interview said, through the leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari, The institute was getting support from the French Development Agency, AFD, to expand its training facilities.
The essence of that very support is to transform vocational training in the power sector in Nigeria. This is an initiative of the federal government of Nigeria, which must be commended. President Muhammad Buhari and the French president agreed on this, and I think it's a very, very massive project that would help not only to transform vocational training in Nigeria, but create jobs.
He explained the components of the AFD support to NAPTIN to include more infrastructural expansion so that the institute can introduce more vocational training courses.
Under this particular arrangement, we will have more expansion in terms of infrastructural development for NAPTIN, and also ensure that we can do more courses, especially in areas of renewable energy and the traditional fossil gas, hydro. So definitely it's a very, very massive opportunity for us to really get young Nigerians trained in all the various aspects of trades in the power sector.
Engineer Nagode also spoke about the capacity building efforts of the institute towards promoting human capacity in renewable energy development.
That's the future of energy, we all know, because we have a vision that is in this country to have 30% renewable energy mix in our energy mix, that 30% renewable energy. And NAPTIN is aligning strategically with that very goal to ensure that we produce human capital that will be able to operate and maintain this very vision. For now, we've really trained over 1,000 that is young Nigerians in this particular. In 2015, we trained about 500, and I remember very well that we completed just recently under IFC scholarship, that is International Finance Corporation scholarship given to young Nigerians, another 150 batch, and we've seen individuals coming in to train, that is as experts in solar PV installation, solar PV supervision, mini grid design, and also in the area of energy management.
The Seoul Power Sector Training Agency is also training its instructors in Nigeria and overseas to keep up with the trend in the renewable energy subsector of the power sector.
We've also gotten our instructors trained, not only in Nigeria, but in Germany, because we got this collaboration with GIZ, and they've helped us tremendously to ensure that NAPTIN becomes one of the leading training institutes in the area of solar, in the area of renewable energy.
That's all we've got on this edition. But before we leave here is a recap of today's edition. You heard that TCN was seeking intervention as erosion, ecological challenges threatening power transmission facilities. The company is deepening its maintenance culture for power transmission equipment and substations. You saw that on the maintenance exercise at Kubwa substation in Abuja. And from the sister agencies, you heard from the National Training Institute of Nigeria, NAPTIN, on how the federal government was transforming it to a world-class power training institute. Join us next week, same station on the Power Circuit. You can view this episode and subsequent ones on TCN YouTube channel. We want you to always interact with us on these platforms, as you can support TCN in advancing its mandate. Coronavirus is real. Tens of thousands have died around the world. Wouldn't you rather stay safe? Observe the NCDC guidelines and do not ignore them. Please stay safe and stay alive. I am Chinwenwa Anyawo. Until come your way next week, enjoy the rest of your day.